healing is something that everyone needs to work on. And that looks different in many ways. My healing to me is, sometimes I like writing, I journal. Other times I live near 50 minutes from the ocean and at the foot of Palomar Mountain. And so I'll go cleanse in the ocean and then I go to the mountain and watch the stars come out for that transition. So I let go and then I gain is my healing. And that's helped a lot. And then having these conversations at the dinner table, at grandma's house, with the aunts and uncles, talking about different things. And yeah, sometimes they'll tease about, different things, but then we'll tease about it, but we learn something out of it. That's vital to have that within your family, to have those conversations. Sometimes I wish you had that magic wand to every family had that there was a violence-free world, but this is what we live in, and we try to make that better for our communities.
One of the things that when I really think about healing is being in a community where it's violence free, which also includes the physical, the emotional, the mental, the sexual abuse. So healing to me looks like, again, our native men, our boys, our individuals who identify as two spirit, our trans people having a safe space and coming together to help. What we're trying to do is to end and bring awareness and education about violence against our native men and boys. That's what healing looks like to me.
What I say may not work for somebody, but to me, what healing looks like is, like I said, like something that you've been hanging on to for years, things that you've been pushed down, that you were taught to push down, not to express your emotions. Don't cry. Men don't cry. Men, all this, that. But just seeing the change, like seeing them showing up, seeing them be a part of their families, like that's healing. They obviously healed. Are not healed, but they're in their process of healing. Women have been, working on their healing for a lot longer than men. So, how is men going to step into that space where they're often viewed as perpetrators and violent offenders? And if you're going to step in that space, you have to step in that space with respect and know nothing to gain from it. What do you there? You don't gain anything from it. You're there to help. You have a gift and you want to share it. That gift doesn't belong to you. Whatever you're going to give, that's for whoever you're helping. So if you're going to step into this place as a man, you're not there to date. You're not there to, you know, personal gain. If you're willing to work on healing and all that healing, what it, boils down to is just showing up where men were absent.
When I think of healing most recently, one of the areas that I'm focused on a lot is how are people really helping themselves along in that healing journey? Questioning themselves, like what is going on? We see a lot of people react, and we see this out there in society. People don't ask why, they just react with their position. But when we look at some of the ways of reflection that come from our culture, different terms, different words, when someone says something or you see someone do something and you have a reaction inside of yourself, you're not supposed to jump on that person and change their behavior. You're supposed to go into yourself and say, why is it I'm reacting to that? What's going on with me that I have that emotion to it? What's that attachment to it? Because that's one of our teachings in there that, we look at people as spiritual beings. All of our spirit is the same no matter what age we are. Whether you're an infant inside a ceremony, a teenager, or an old man in there, all of our spirits are the same size, no matter what. Our physical bodies may be the same size, so that's what we say. We're all spiritual beings. We all have gifts, all part of that balance. What do we all contribute? The lessons from infants and children are about honesty, forgiveness, joyfulness. That's what we do. That excitement, um, interest for adolescents, our responsibility, obligation as adults and as elders to be teachers and educators and pass that knowledge on to the next generation. So we always got to start with what it is with self and why are we reacting in the way that we do, and then also we need to learn how to take care of ourselves. So when we have something traumatic happen to us, we have to figure out how we're going to deal with that trauma in ways that's healthy, and that's tools and things that we're hearing from people over the last couple of years of doing this project that's really interesting is what are the daily things that we have in our culture and teachings that we can use so that we know that we're going to always feel those emotions, but how do we handle that in a way that doesn't overwhelm us so that we're crippled and we can't do anything? And that's one of the lessons I've heard many years ago. You can't change the past, you can only change the way you look at it. And so when we look at a traumatic experience, that's an obstacle for us. But when we start to look at it from different angles and different sides, then we're taking different ways of this obstacle. And eventually you find yourself on the other side of it. And then you look back at it as an experience that drives you forward on your own healing journey.
What I try to understand about what healing looks like is to go to what I've been taught about how I live and how I lived in the sickness prior to this powerful and profound healing experience. I was sick physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And all the variety of different ways that I experienced sickness through not just the alcoholism, the drug abuse, the self sabotage, the negative self talk, the colonized belief systems that I thought were the ways in which I was supposed to live. When I came into the healing journey and I began to experience that, what I realized is that if I was going to heal, I needed to heal all four areas as well. And so, physically taking care of myself, eating better, exercising, spiritually relying upon the cultural belief systems of not just my people, but other cultures that do well to help me to maintain the balance between the four, understanding that my belief systems of not just myself and the world around me have a direct impact on my emotional state of being. If I believe that I am a good person and that I am capable, I'm teachable, I'm forgivable, I am lovable, I'm a beautiful human being, then my emotions will follow suit. And so I'm more happier. I feel more at peace. Even when I'm stressed and fearful, I don't have to be angry. I don't have to be uh, anxious. I can be at peace and have trust that when those four areas are connected, life is going to be okay. Yes, I'm going to go through challenges. Yes, life is going to test me, but I'm going to be okay. And I don't have to drink or drug today. And I'm completely okay with who I am as an individual. You know, I can safely admit that today, even though I married young and had children, that I am a two-spirited member of my community, and that comes with a lot of responsibilities to carry. And as a survivor of childhood sexual assault, I guide people through the understanding that it's not our fault. What healing looks like in my life and what I encourage other people to do is take the journey to explore what it's going to look like in yours and ask yourself, what can I do better to make myself live a more balanced and happy life today? So, yeah.